In qualifying, it was Sebastian Vettel who was quickest for the 5th time this season. The Ferrari driver has been unbelievable during the Saturday sessions in 2018, picking up 7 front-row starts in the space of just 8 races. Stoffel Vandoorne was 2nd quickest by just 0.06 of a second, and splitting the Ferraris, Ricciardo narrowly edging out Hamilton for 3rd position. Max Verstappen put up an incredible lap to snatch P5 on the 3rd row, only 11 thousandths quicker than the Red Bull of Aarava, while the other Red Bull of Gasly will start just behind him P7. Continuing to impress, Giovinazzi might not have out-qualified his sister teammates, but he did manage to go just 1,000th of a second slower than Gasly and set an identical lap time to Pascal Wehrlein, but did it before the German to grab P8. Rounding out the top 10, it was Magnussen just 100th of a second slower than Wehrlein, and all 10 drivers separated by less than 4/10 when the checkered flag fell at the end of the qualifying session today.
What's going on, guys? Aarava here, and welcome back to my F1 MyDriver career mode, episode number 8 today for season 4 at the Chinese Grand Prix. I can't quite believe I'm saying episode number 8 already. We're already just over halfway through this season, but still plenty of races and points up for grabs, including today at China. A brand new circuit on the F1 MyDriver calendar, so I have no idea how this is going to go. We'll see how everything does. A long back straight, so we're going to have to kind of take some pain there and try and make us some time in Sector 1 and Sector 2 if we can, but it's going to be either a 3 or a 4 stop. Very, very tyre wear heavy circuit China is on the base 2016 game. That's something I also do want to just note for the last episode, episode number 7. There were a few people questioning why I did 2 dry stops, accusing me of maybe trying to on purpose make an extra stop just to get some racing in there. I modded the tyre wear, guys, for Canada and Monaco. If you didn't actually notice, some eagle-eyed viewers might have noticed that the tyre wear was way over what it usually is on the base 2016 game, especially for Canada. That was a 3 to 4 stop when usually it's just a 1 stop on a 50% race. So that's why I made the extra stop. I didn't intentionally make one because I wanted to make one. Remember, I also broke a bit of my front wing, but I wanted to point that out because a few people were kind of insinuating that I was making an extra stop just to get some racing in at Monaco, but it wasn't the case. I broke my front wing. The tyre was also pretty rubbish, and also half the time you guys don't know what mods I've actually got on the entire time, and that's the whole beauty of it. You know, I'm trying to create a storyline in this series, and, you know, like any sort of TV show storyline, you guys don't know the, you know, the actual, you know, outcome of the storyline apart from me. So that's about it, but that's all I have to say on the matter. But anyway, we're going to move on to China here. Should be a pretty good one. Let's hand you over to Justin to take you through the starting grid.
Let's take a look now at the starting grid for today's Chinese Grand Prix. It is a 5th pole position in 2018 for Sebastian Vettel, and he will be joined on the front row by the McLaren of Stoffel Vandoorne. On the second row comes their teammates Daniel Ricciardo ahead of Lewis Hamilton on this occasion. In 5th position comes Max Verstappen in the Mercedes, who have been struggling in qualifying all season long. Then comes the Red Bull of Aarava. He'll be starting again ahead of his teammate Pierre Gasly, who could only manage 7th position, just ahead of Antonio Giovinazzi, who continues to impress in the qualifying sessions. Rounding out the top 10, we've got Pascal Wehrlein in the Mercedes and Kevin Magnussen once again making it into the top 10. Then we've got Leclerc and Sainz on row 6th. And then we've got Schumacher and Hülkenberg in 13th and 14th positions, respectively. Again, another tough qualifying for Nico. Romain Grosjean will be starting today's race from 15th position in the Haas. He'll be joined by Valtteri Bottas in the Williams on that row. Then comes Newgarden and Perez in 17th and 18th positions, respectively. In 19th position comes Nico Rosberg in the Audi team, and then Lance Stroll in the Williams in 20th position. And on the final row of the grid, it is Esteban Ocon and Sergei Sirotkin rounding out the grid of 22 drivers.
So that was the starting grid. Let's get into this. The Chinese Grand Prix, the very first Chinese Grand Prix in the MyDriver universe. What will it have in store for us today? We go to 5 red lights, and we are not quite on the way. We bogged down quite a bit with 9,000 revs, too low to get off the line. Gasly and Giovinazzi have both jumped us into turn 1. We go. The Renault down the inside, the Alfa Romeo on the outside, and we've been tapped. We've been tapped by the Mercedes of Wehrlein. I think that is because Verstappen's ahead of us. Verline, my old arch nemesis in my old team, has tapped me round there. Thankfully, we've not done a full spin. That was a half spin. So really, worst case scenario has been averted there. And we're still in a good 11th place, still in the kind of running of the top 10 there. But that could have been a lot worse. But we're half spun round there. So that was probably the worst start I've had this season so far in this Red Bull. It's probably overdue, you could say, with the likes of Sebastian Vettel, the two McLarens getting shocking starts so far this season. And so we'll just have to suck it up and get a move on here. So we move on to lap 2, trying to get back our composure, get in a rhythm now of this Chinese Grand Prix. Haven't driven this circuit on heavy fuel in this Red Bull car yet, so we need to get into a bit of a rhythm. We're trying to go around the outside of the Alfa Romeo, trying to size him up there. We're going to nip it down the inside of Leclerc. He's on the soft tyres, we're on the super soft, so he's going to be going longer. And actually the Renault ahead also is on soft tyres, so a lot of these guys going longer into the Grand Prix compared to me and my compatriots in the top 10, remember, because we have to start on the qualifying tyre. So down the straight though, we're in a bit of a deficit. We already mentioned that in the qualifying report, and look at this. Here comes the Alfa Romeo, just like, remember, back in Brazil, Leclerc and I battled away, and once again he's got the straight line speed on me, but I'll try and outbrake him around the outside. But I've got Magnussen out, strangely out there on the runoff area. That actually puts me off, and that's why I went wide and deep into the corner, because I was too busy looking at the Renault ahead of me. But we make a decisive decision to come in already at the end of lap 2. You may say very early indeed, but these tyres have already gone off a cliff here, so I'm going to come in for a big undercut here, and basically I have nothing to lose. I may as well go for this, because we've lost about 5 positions there from where I qualified, and then we've lost so much time in so many seconds from where I was and would have been into turn 1 had I not bogged down and got half spun there. So we may as well try it. So now we're going on to the soft tyres. So the strategy today will basically be either another set of softs and then mediums towards the end of the Grand Prix, or switching that round, going for a set of mediums and then going for the set of softs right at the end there. But we won't be using the super softs again, because clearly, as you can see, they're pretty much like back in 2013, you remember, in real life Formula 1, very much like qualifying tyres. And now as we come on to the end of lap 3 on towards lap 4 through turn 1, you can see Van Dorn's now made his pit stop, so he only went one more lap than me. And remember, he was in P2 and Vettel was still in P1. He got a good start if you didn't see, but Van Dorn was in P2, and now look at that, we can see him up the road. So we've gained a lot of time in that undercut actually. But yeah, Vettel's new clutch system, Ferrari's new clutch system that they brought in to fix those poor getaways they've been having the last few races, looks like it's worked for them, because Vettel, I think, is still leading this Grand Prix, and Ricciardo got a pretty decent start at the start of that race. But we've got ahead of Max Verstappen there, right behind the Toro Rosso of Giovinazzi. So remember, we got bogged down and got passed by Giovinazzi into turn 1. So we've gained so much time in so many positions here by doing that undercut. That's actually been an inspired decision. We'll go down the inside of the Italian in the junior team, and we've got past him pretty easily. He's on the medium tyres though, so that might be a bit of an inkling. Maybe the medium tyres are going to be quite a bad race tyre, and maybe the soft tyres are going to work a treat. And interestingly enough, Gasly up ahead on super soft. So Gasly's definitely going for a 4-stop then, that must mean. But he's in a bit of a train at the moment, 2 cars ahead of him, so he's going to have to get a move on if he wants to make that strategy work out for him. And by lap 8, he has done so. He's overtaken those 2 cars. We've now got Vettel ahead of us in P13, so it looks like he's lost out a lot of positions, pitting later than everyone else. So it looks like the undercut is really quite powerful here at China, and also the medium tyre may not be the race tyre you want to be on for so long. But we've got a bit of an oversteer off that exit on the swooping right-hander. We've now got Hamilton in the mirrors on the left-hand side, and also Giovinazzi and Verstappen also all training each other with DRS. So here comes Hamilton and Giovinazzi down on the right-hand side. They both go side by side, and now they'll battle each other. We're going to have a look down the inside, but we think better of it. Swoop back to the racing line to get the corner gun. But down the inside, Verstappen comes out of nowhere. Really surprising move he's made there. And we go side by side into the final corner. He'll go on the outside. We're going to squeeze him out there onto the exit of the corner. And Gasly's into the pits now. So obviously he was on the super soft, so he only made those last about 5 laps there. So I'm still questioning really why he went on a set of super softs, but oh well. But we've gone down. We're going to try now go down the inside of Giovinazzi as he's being squeezed out by Hamilton, and we'll get back up into what will be 7th place at the moment. And so we've fended off Verstappen successfully and re-overtaken our junior Italian teammate there, I guess you could say. But we come into the pits now on lap 9 for what will be our medium tyres. So those soft tyres only went 7 laps there, so really not a lot, and they're already feeling second hand here. So I'm basically using what I've seen right ahead of me with my very own 2 eyes. The undercut seems to be very, very powerful because Sebastian Vettel, who was in the lead of this Grand Prix, got leapfrogged there by quite a few cars. So I'm just going to use that same logic to try and leapfrog the likes of Hamilton and potentially even the Ferraris or the other McLaren Van Dorn. I just don't know how much time they're going to lose on their old set of either super softs or softs, because I don't even know if any of them are on super softs, because my teammate Gasly used super softs, and you can see that didn't work out for him because he's actually there in the background behind me on a set of soft tyres. So that really has backfired on Gasly. So I mentioned it just earlier, I really was a little bit puzzled at why he chose the super softs. They don't really seem like the logical race tyre. So again, a little bit of the old Red Bull from 2017 creeping in there with the strategy blunders. That's usually McLaren this season, but Gasly made the wrong decision there, and so now he's found himself behind me. But with some oversteer there, he's still going to be there for the battling, so we're going to have to be wary of that. But for now, we're focused ahead of the track, and you can see Nico Rosberg there in the Audi car so far doing an okay job on his soft tyres that I'm guessing he's been on since the start of the Grand Prix, because I don't really think he's going to be up here legitimately for position here. So he's out of sync with this Grand Prix. I think that's going to be a big feature of this race. It's looking like, I can just tell that it looks like a lot of the midfield cars, and also especially definitely the lower teams like Rosberg in the Audi, went onto the soft tyres at the beginning of the Grand Prix, started it on that tyre, and that means they're all going to be very much out of sync with all of the top runners who started on super softs and had to make a very early pit stop. So it's going to be a bit of a wacky Grand Prix in that sense of we might be overtaking a lot of cars that maybe we're not used to battling just because they're very much out of sync. And you can see up ahead, that was Ricciardo who was battling the Williams and the Force India of Ocon. He's got ahead of both of them now, and we find ourselves behind Esteban Ocon, but we've got a bit of fish to fry because we've got Pierre Gasly right behind us, right up our chuff with the soft tyres with DRS, and he's going to come up on the right hand side and try and make a move towards the hairpin. We'll go side by side, and you can see Gasly's got the run out of us. He got a much better exit on that corner, but he's actually broken a lot earlier there. Into the hairpin we'll go. We'll lock up a little bit on the right tyre. He's still going to have it down the inside, so I'll give him the room, but we try and get a bit of squeezing oversteer there, and we're going to try and force him out wide on the last corner like we did to Verstappen. It's worked out so far, but on the exit of the corner, Gasly's not giving up. He's got the momentum. He'll get back in the slipstream. He'll get that fresher, cleaner air. He'll now duck down the inside. Into turn 1 we go. We're going to do the switchback move, swing it around to the inside now of turn 1, into turn 2 it blends into, hit the apex there, and we're going to get it as we go down the hill, and we're still in P15 just ahead of Gasly, but he's got another great exit, so he's getting some great traction off these corners on the better tyre. Remember, he's on a soft tyre, so he goes round the outside and just about makes it. Squeezes round. I give him the room, give him all the respect I need to give my teammate, but he makes it stick, and that was very surprising actually. And all the while this battling's been for what will be in the top left, you can see P16, so quite strange. And exactly as I said, all of us are very, very out of sync of the turn of top runners. I'm guessing the top runners might even be a lot of midfield runners because they're yet to make a pit stop, all start on the soft tyres. So yeah, very, very odd to have such a great battle, but down for P16 here. But we'll continue on. You can see we did gain a little bit of time on Gasly through those next few corners actually, so we've got some decent pace through sector 2. Just here, this corner especially, I'm just losing hand over fist to a lot of the drivers out here today. Just can't get the traction down, don't have the confidence on this Red Bull car, but we'll try and chase after Gasly, who's going to make a move on Ocon here. So if Ocon could give him a hard time, I might use him to my advantage, and you can see I'm gaining and gaining with DRS, and I have to make the move here. So I make the biggest dive bomb of the century round the outside. We're going to go side by side with Esteban on the exit there, but we'll make it stick, and he probably thought I wasn't going to make that work because I literally went from, well, I was going to say China and back, but we're at China. I went from Russia and back to make that move down around the outside to the hairpin. And now we've got a great run on Gasly. We'll go round the outside into turn 1 yet again. Gasly swings across me wide, so we'll go on the inside yet again, get the swing back. That time it was a lot closer actually. My left front tyre was so close to spinning Gasly out, just like Verline did to me in turn 1 and lap 1 there. So that was very, very close, and probably Christian Horner was cringing back at his pit wall box just looking at that move. But we've made it work. But later on into the Grand Prix, the very next straight, Gasly will come back at us here, and yet again he'll get us here down to the hairpin, so we'll have to stick behind him. But yet again we'll make it down the inside now, hit the apex. will go side by side, give him the room, but squeeze him out equally there. And all this time, Hamilton is closing up behind us. Gasly will get the run into the final corner. I'll slow it down, slide into the final corner actually. We'll get a good exit, bit of oversteer for good measure, just to look cool. And then we'll get some DRS and we'll go on the right hand side, down the inside into turn 1. And this time, surely we'll get the move done and make it stick, because this time Gasly loses a bit of time into my dirty air. You can see he's lost the back end a little bit there actually in the background, and then was holding up Hamilton. And then through these SS sections, you can see now in the mirrors, Gasly is nowhere to be seen actually, so I'm pulling away now. So maybe just now, this perfect timing actually, it might be that Gasly's tyres are starting to wear out just about now, so this might be perfect. This might be the perfect time to overtake him, if you know what I mean there. That's what I meant. But oh my god, Sebastian Vettel and Valtteri Bottas. Sebastian Vettel, have they crashed? And Vettel's out of the race. Vettel's out of the race. That's huge news. That's drama in the Chinese Grand Prix. Can you believe it? The luck of this man, Sebastian Vettel. He's out of the Grand Prix. Virtual safety car. And here it is. Vettel nowhere near Bottas, so he's not crashed out. This must be an engine failure. And Vettel is no longer leading the Chinese Grand Prix. Oh my god.
I'm out! For f***'s sake! Honestly, what the f*** are we doing here?
And that was the sound of a man absolutely defeated at the moment in the Chinese Grand Prix. And that picture right there of that Ferrari stricken, smoking away, is worth more than 1,000 words really to any press members, because that is Vettel's championship dealt a very, very heavy blow. And at the same time, funnily enough, Bottas gets an engine failure, so that calls into question a little bit China as a circuit. I didn't know it was going to be that demanding for engines, really, so maybe that's something that the FIA need to look into if we are to return to China in the future, if we're going to have engine failures left, right and centre. But we overtake Stroll, Bottas's teammate, who's still in the Grand Prix, and we move on and continue on as he comes into the pits on towards lap 17. This will be Gasly's into the pits now, so his soft tyres have worn out, and now we catch up to Sorokin in the other Audi, and we're up in P7 and Sorokin's up here in P6. So as I mentioned, yet again, I'll say it a few times here because it just is so true. Such a wacky Grand Prix at the moment with so many weird people up in the top 10 because they're making a very weird, audacious strategy and somehow they're making it work at the moment. But Hamilton is overtaking us, so we've got bigger issues to worry about. Even though we had DRS off the Russian in the Audi, Hamilton was able to overtake us, just showing the power of the Honda engine compared to our Tag Heuer branded Renault engine. But he goes side by side. We made the move down the inside of the hairpin previously, but we've not made it work on the exit. We lock up actually, but we actually use that to make sure we get a good exit off that final corner. So it looks like we made a mistake there, but actually we'll get the run on Hamilton into turn 1. We'll go and we'll try and make the move down the inside, swing it down the inside as he goes wide a little bit, and he'll try and squeeze us into the apex, but it's not going to work out. Hopefully we'll try and hang it around the outside here, but no, he's done actually pretty damn well. He's going to keep it. He squeezes us, bit of oversteer there. He then brake checks us on the exit of the corner, and so that's some great driving from Lewis Hamilton to defend from me there, and so we've not made that work, and it's going to soon be time to make our pit stop. So really Hamilton is frustrating and ruining my race a little bit here, and so we move on to the back straight, and this time we need to try and get this move done. You can see even my engineer is asking to change the strategy, probably to make an early pit stop right about now, but we need to try and get past Hamilton, not to let him ruin our race anymore, because we need to take these primes to about lap 20, 21, not lap 18, if we want to make this 3-stop work today, because I really don't think the 4-stop's going to be worth it. I think we're going to lose too much time with the 4-stop here. So we've come through the final corner. Hamilton will peel into the pit, so we've actually made that work perfectly. But you could see what Hamilton was doing. He was trying to wreck my race because he knew he was going to come in that lap. And so as he crossed the line on lap 19, we're at the moment leading the race, and Carlos Sainz at the moment in second place, and we've got Leclerc there in third. So a very wacky race. I wonder where Van Dorn and Ricciardo are in all of this. They must be around P4, P5, ready to overtake those two. But we're now coming on to the end, towards the end of lap 19, and you can see our tyres are absolutely shot. That left front tyre and right front tyre, both in the brick orange region. So it's time to come in for the pit stop now, and so we're going to be strapping on a set of soft tyres there, and they'll go to the end with 9 laps to go in this Grand Prix. But yeah, the medium tyres very, very worn out there. Didn't have actually much pace and grip out there on the medium tyres, so all round not a great ideal race tyre really for the Chinese Grand Prix. And you got to say, actually looking at the tyre wear, probably puts in a case for Pirelli to even go to the hard tyres at the moment in this China GP for next season, perhaps. in the MyDriver universe at least. Maybe not the real-life Grand Prix, but definitely here right now at the moment. All these cars seem to be wearing out their tyres quite a bit, and you can see we come out ahead of Hamilton, crucially, but behind Pierre Gasly. So we've lost time to our teammate who made the earliest stop for medium tyres, but him and Hamilton are both on medium, so we should have more pace than both of them right now, especially now with the fresh grip to overtake these guys. Remember, Gasly came up to us and had some great traction versus us when we were on the medium, so we go on and try and do the same. So we move on to the end of lap 20 on the back straight with DRS. Pretty simple move on our teammate Gasly, and now we can get a move on to try and catch Mick Schumacher, who's doing a great job at the moment with 8 laps to go in P9 at the moment, and we're P10. Well, I have a feeling that some people are still yet to make their pit stops, otherwise that's a little bit worrying to see the likes of myself, Gasly and Hamilton down the order. Hamilton and Gasly at this point out the points, remember, because I'm in P10. So yeah, a little bit of a strange one, as I've said many times already in this episode. But anyway, we're going to move on, concentrate on the racing at hand, and not care too much about what's actually going on the rest of the circuit. Just focus on what's happening in front of us, and that's one Mick Schumacher trying to hold us up here in the Alfa Romeo. He doesn't get the best entry into that swooping right-hander, gets good traction and exit though, and so he'll use that Alfa Romeo Ferrari powered engine to get a little bit away from us, but we'll have DRS, so this should be inevitable. Making the move down the inside, swing to the right-hand side of the circuit, down the inside. He'll actually outbrake us there, and on the entry to the corner, we'll squeeze him out though, and so we'll get up into P9. So he tried his best there, Mick, but it wasn't any use. That Red Bull car should have it in the bag. So we move on now to lap 26 now. We've got a few laps to go in this Grand Prix so far. On the exit of this corner though, our tyres are starting to wear out already. We've got 2 laps to go. Remember, at this point, on the first set of soft tyres, I came into the pits, so they're starting to struggle a little bit, and Mick Schumacher is starting to come back at us, and he's going to have DRS on us, so he might have a really good opportunity to make a dive bomb move into the hairpin. If not, set himself up for the main straight here. We do a double lockup, big lockup on the left front tyre. I think the tyres are really starting to go here, as Schumacher's gained a lot of time, as well as Gasly there, who's hounding him on the rear of his car. So we go and slide through the final corner, and these tyres really aren't feeling very good. We've got 2 laps to go, or 1 lap to go, I'm not too sure on that, but Schumacher is coming through on the left hand side. Round the outside he'll go, and he's up into what will be 9th place into turn 1. Look how badly the left front tyre is worn out. We've got yellow flags for something. Gasly's back here. Hamilton's out of the race. Hamilton smoking away, and Gasly is now down the inside. Meanwhile, we have to concentrate back to us, and Gasly is down the inside. We've got bigger issues to worry about than Hamilton, because our tyres are completely off the cliff, and Gasly's completely out-tractioned us. And look at that left front. That is completely brick red. Is that even going to make it to the end of the Grand Prix? We've got 1.5 laps left in this Grand Prix. Is it going to make it through to the end? We come through, we've locked up, and there's the puncher. We've got a puncher. It's over. Surely, that's it. We're not going to get points today. We're in P11 already. Gasly and Schumacher already put us down at the points. But now, we've got a puncher on the left front. And on this game, you can't go too fast with a puncher. And we trundle back to the pits on lap 27. On towards lap 20 and to the last lap of the Grand Prix. I'm going to have to make an extra pit stop for super soft tyres. And that's it. We're not getting points today. We'll finish the Grand Prix. That's fine. But I don't really care about finishing the Grand Prix. We're out the points. I can't believe it. But this was Hamilton.
Oh no!
So Lewis Hamilton smokes out of this Chinese Grand Prix, joining Vettel and Bottas as DNFers with an engine failure, and that is just adding to how crazy this Grand Prix is. And I've got some more crazy news for you, because this is Carlos Sainz leading the way at the Chinese Grand Prix, coming through the final corner of the final lap. Van Dorn second, Leclerc third, but this is Carlos Sainz, the young Spaniard in the Toro Rosso, to cross the line to win the Chinese Grand Prix. Unbelievable scenes, absolutely unbelievable scenes. This is almost poetic.
Sí, Carlos, sí. Bravo, Chile. Bravo.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I call a really good weekend. I knew we could do it. It was a matter of time.
I can't quite believe what we've just witnessed there. I'm still in shock. Carlos Sainz is a Grand Prix winner now in MyDriver. He's won the Chinese Grand Prix. Van Dorn comes second, Leclerc third. So out of all of that, Van Dorn is the one that really wins out of all the top runners, you've got to say. Giovinazzi gets 4th place, so a very, very strong race for Toro Rosso as a whole. And wow, Vettel out this Grand Prix with an engine failure. Hamilton out this Grand Prix with engine failure. I was out of the running for just some points, even just 1 point because of a puncher. Gasly without a puncher still only got 2 measly points there. So what a hectic and confusing Chinese Grand Prix. What have we just witnessed? Because all the top runners, apart from Van Dorn, really, I mean, maybe Ricciardo, but he was still down the order. So really only Van Dorn was the only top runner not to have tyre issues or engine issues or just generally out of the running for the podium. Like, I don't know how Gasly, myself, and Hamilton all even ended up fighting only for P10 and P9. And insane that 3 people get engine failures like that at China. Who would have thought? I'm just speechless. That's crazy. For the championship, it means that not much actually changed at the top. A few points here and there, but I'm still first with Vettel still second with the same amount of points. Gasly gains a little bit, Ricciardo gains a little bit, so those two close up. In the Constructors, the only thing that changes is that Toro Rosso are now firmly in 5th place, even now looking to catch Mercedes and overtake them potentially in the next few rounds, and they've clearly got away from Renault, but wow, I need to process that. I think you guys might need to process that, but Carlos Sainz, Grand Prix winner here now in the MyDriver universe in 2018. Let me know what you thought of that video, guys. Give it a like if you did enjoy it. Let me know what you thought of any of that. Absolutely bonkers. If you're new around here, then do subscribe for more F1 content. That's what you get on this channel. Absolutely hectic and mind-boggling results there in MyDriver. Crazy. I'll see you guys next time. I hope you really did thoroughly enjoy that Chinese Grand Prix. What a way to announce yourself onto the calendar just like that. I think we'll be seeing China back next season for sure from the FIA after that much drama. But yeah, I need to lie down. I'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.